Welcome back to Niagawani. Right now we're on the segment of GeoSME, whereas the global paradigm has shifted toward focusing on environmental, social and governance (ESG) and sustainability standards. Asian countries have followed suit, contributing to the integration of sustainability in the policies and investments. Malaysia in particular, with its growing role as a rapidly expanding property market in Asia, has to remain steadfast in championing sustainability. And at the forefront of this movement is Hornbill Networks Consortium, 𝗕𝗂𝗺𝗺, an innovative property development company based in Kuching, Sarawak, Malaysia, that has delivered first-rate homes and commercial properties for discerning buyers since 2020. So to discuss further on this is Hanizam Hashim, the Managing Director of Hornbill Networks Consortium. Good morning.
Good morning, 𝗕𝗂𝗺𝗺. Thank you very much for this.
All right, firstly, Hanizam, could you share on how do you perceive the current pace at which sustainability practices are being integrated into Malaysia's real estate industry if we were to compare to other Asian countries?
The adoption rate for the sustainability practice here in Malaysia is actually quite being adopted rapidly, especially by the government and also by the private sectors. But I would say there are many challenges to actually getting into a head to make sure that the sustainability practices is actually adopted as per what is actually wanted by the government and also by the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals.
And what do you think can be the key barriers that preventing the full adoption at this rate right now?
At the moment right now, I can see from what we are getting into, based on our experience, is that it's actually through financials. One, there's not much support actually at the regional level. I wouldn't say that it's not happening here in KL or wherever else, but at the moment right now here in Sarawak particular, some of the local offices, they don't quite understand on the ESG practices. So that's one of the key barriers at the regional level. But at the nationwide, I think based at the policy level, administered by our current Prime Minister, it's all okay. It's just that implementation part right now is actually quite lacking.
You mentioned about financial sector. That's one part of the key challenges or barriers that preventing the full adoption. But given that the real estate sector contributes to 40% of global greenhouse gas emissions, what immediate challenges or what are the immediate challenges do property developers face in especially balancing sustainability, but at the same time its affordability, especially in Malaysia's growing market right now?
Okay, thank you. That's a very good question, 𝗕𝗂𝗺𝗺, because the thing is that the real estate sector right now is actually undergoing a lot of major transformation changes right now. So because the building and the construction industry contributes to that much of the pollution in the whole worldwide. So what we have to do is that the private sectors like us is that we need to find alternative methods, processes and also materials to actually replace some of the things that we are actually using. For example, like we are using a lot of rocks, cement, stones and all this, right? So we need to find alternatives for it. So hopefully with the circular economy that's actually being espoused right now, that can actually contribute to the whole situation. That can actually assist developers, builders like us to actually create more affordable homes in a sustainable method. Because at the moment right now, it's not that sustainable.
You mentioned earlier about the awareness and also the financial support. But in terms of awareness, how can actually NGOs or maybe the governments can actually prepare all these developers, and what strategies can be implemented to actually give all these developers some kind of sufficient guidance and also support?
At the moment right now, what is being done by the Ministry of the Environment and also based from what is actually being informed by us, by most of the bankers, is that they're telling us they have green loans and all that. So that's actually quite a good part. The market trend also suggests that a lot of the millennials and also the Generation Z, they are actually more concerned about the environment compared to the Generation X and all that. So it's actually quite a good thing that's going right now. But I would say that probably we need to have more awareness in terms of the green loans that's actually being, that's actually being promoted by the banks. Because not many people know that if you own a green home, that you can actually get a 1%, 0.1% difference from the normal interest rate if they are buying their home. So for example, if they are buying a home at a rate of about 3.8 now with a normal conventional rate, But if they are buying a green home, they can actually buy it at a 3.7. That's actually quite a substantial amount. If let's say you're buying a very, the loan amount is actually quite big.
And a recent study showed that Malaysian consumers are actually opting for green residential areas. So how is Hornbill Networks Consortium, a developer like Hanizam sendiri, can actually address this shift in consumer demand, and what innovative technologies are you leveraging to actually meet these expectations from buyers?
Okay. We actually set up the company in 2019 to actually try to a bit innovate in terms of actually what the property development sector here in Kuching, Sarawak. So what we've done is that we actually trying to incorporate, we actually do the design process much more earlier to make sure that, whatever that we do is actually conform to the green and also sustainable methods. So for example, at the moment right now, we are already committed with Green RE. Green RE is a body, an independent body that's actually accredited by the banks, saying that, if let's say, if your homes are built in a sustainable manner, you are incorporating a lot of the design practice, like, for example, like solar panels and all that, they will actually they will certify us. So we are quite proud and happy to actually, one of the first few projects here in Sarawak that's actually, our homes are actually Green RE certified. That's one. Secondly is that what we are looking at in terms of the processes, what we've done is that we've actually looking at terms of trying to find materials that is actually like waste, that can actually be incorporated into the building process. So to ensure that, we are always talking about sustainability, we are talking about circular economy, because that's what especially the Sarawak government is actually pushing through right now. So we're quite happy, but at the same time, there's a lot of major things that we need to do now to ensure that we actually on the right path.
In your opinion, Hanizam, how do you think sustainability initiatives like we have future-proofing and also carbon-neutral spaces actually provide a competitive edge for property developers, particularly for emerging companies like yourself, Hornbill Networks Consortium? And how does this movement towards more sustainability houses can actually impact towards the prices?
Okay, there's always because there are always financial implications to it, Nabila, all right, in terms of actually building homes using in a sustainable manner. What we are looking at in terms of, for example, that what you've said about with carbon recording practices and all that, it's actually quite to do a study for doing this kind of research in terms of carbon zero elements and all that. It costs roughly at least 30 to 40,000 minimum for each project. So that's quite a substantial amount of money. So what we've done is that we are actually doing in I would say a gradual manner. What we started is actually trying to collate our records and all that. So these are the type of things that we need to actually do in order for us to differentiate our projects against the rest of the other competitors. But at the same time, I can see that if you are the first mover advantage, there is a first mover advantage to all of this. Because it takes a while, because the process is quite tedious in terms of actually, because you need to record, for example, your diesel usage, you need to record your water usage, you need to record your electricity usage. So that's actually quite a tedious process on the part of the staff to actually do it. But we can see that it's actually one of the reports that we actually need to actually provide to the public to show that we are in the right way of doing things in terms of actually making the homes more green, and to ensure that our carbon footprint is not, overloaded and all that.
Mm-hmm. And we know that the current need to actually align with or meet the ESG goals right now are constantly increasing. So how can we ensure that it actually aligns with the triple bottom line, which is people, planet, profit, that aligns with the SDG, not ESG, but SDG goals as well? So in this project, especially when we can balance between sustainability and also affordability at the same time.
Yeah, I totally agree, because that's one of the part of the things that we actually, when we first started the company in 2019, to ensure that, for example, that we try to balance this particular people, planet, and profits together. Okay, so it's a bit of a challenge, but you need to actually be very focused and very certain in terms of what you want to do. The good part about it is that our management, our board of directors is actually, I would say that probably they're very supportive in terms of actually going for this particular three piece, to ensure that we have that harmony to ensure that our people is happy, the planet is also safe, and at the same time we are still making money. But at the end of the day, for us is that we still need a lot of support from the government and also from the banks to ensure that for people like us, like developers like us, that we are going very big in terms of the green technology like this is being well supported. We are very consistent since 2019 in terms of what we want to do to ensure that the homes are sustainable for the people that we actually buying they are buying the homes with.
Mr. Nizam, last one before we end this discussion. We have about 1 minute left. Looking ahead, what is your long-term vision for embedding sustainability into your business model, and how do you foresee the Malaysian property sector evolving in terms of sustainability over the next decade?
Okay, I would say that probably because property development, because a home is actually a part of what you have in your life. So to actually have a green home, that will also be one of your aspects that you can actually choose to actually, be more sustainable in the manner right now. So embedding that into our business practice has been in day one for us. So that's not a big of an issue. But what I can see is that what we wanted to do when we first started the company is that we want to leave a legacy to ensure that the building industry is run in a more sustainable manner. Because at the moment right now, it's really not sustainable because you can't really go on and digging rocks and blowing up mountains to actually get all these rocks and all that. So it's actually not good for the environment. So at the same time, we can't actually go on and cutting trees all over the place, And even though we are cutting trees in terms of our development and all that, but we will try to green it. So we want to make sure that there is a legacy for our home buyers and also for our stakeholders to ensure that at the end of the day, we are all living in the same planet like this, right? So we just hope that we are able to actually contribute to the environment and also at the same time make people happy, and at the same time for us also that profit plays into play. So I think that's what I would think that's what we envision, Cik Nabila. So as far as the industry is concerned, we have a responsibility to the environment. I think most of our my friends and colleagues in the housing development industry, they are all aware of it. So they are taking their time because we are trying to find the right technology that we can actually use in our particular industry.
All right, thank you so much to Nizam Hashim, the Managing Director of Hornbill Networks Consortium. Thank you for your time and for your insights and how we can actually balance between affordability and sustainability, especially in real estate. And more coming up tomorrow. Be sure to tune in to Nia every day 9 a.m. And I think that's all for now for today on Nia. My name is Nabila Khalida. Thanks for watching. Dibawakan oleh penaja utama jelajah jiwa SME, Unify Business, rakan digital pilihan anda.